everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I'm so excited to be back with my first episode of Obsessed with Katty and Christy using the Dear Lizzy Saturday Collection. And for this one, we are using a recipe. So the recipe includes using a long title, 3 wood veneer, 1 frame, and some washi tape. And those are the 4 pieces of pattern paper we picked out, that beautiful floral, the red diagonal, the green polka dot, and the cut apart there. I need to apologize if I sound completely out of breath. I am in my 3rd trimester and everything is squished, so please forgive me there. I'm also showing you that I am taking apart this layout that I had created, and I just created this layout like maybe not even within the last 6 months. I liked the way it looked, but it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And in my album, I literally had another layout right beside it that basically said the exact same thing. So I'm going to take apart this layout that I had created and work on something a little bit different. And I really love the outcome of this. So I'm just showing you that that's what's going to happen. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to take advantage of both the yellow and the blue because it does go in with the Dear Lizzy Saturday. I believe that's a piece of Fancy Pants paper there. And there is the outcome of it. I'm sorry it's a little bit blurry. It does go away. I swear I had to hit my focus, but it didn't work. First thing I'm going to do here is just trim a bit of this beautiful yellow. I love this. And you know what's really funny is I used to not be into that color at all. But for some reason there's just something about that color I'm really digging. So I used it that little bit, and then I'm going to use a little bit of the blue. And that's going to start my layers. And then on top of that, I'm going to add the red diagonal, and then what you can see, it's very, very fine and thin. So, and then I use that, and then everything else is going to be cut into some type of circular pattern, which I am using actually as another part of my layout. Is I have decided for 2017, I'm doing a challenge called 99 layouts. So my goal is to get 99 layouts done. I do have a Pinterest board I'm trying to work through as well, and this is a scrap lift from one of the Pinterest board pins that I had done by the amazing MercyTiara, and I'll make sure to post that at the very end so you can see the difference between the two. And so I'm playing off of, I kind of at least have the design already in my head. I just have to figure out what I want to do with the pattern papers and just how I'm going to play off of it. So the first thing I did is I chanced it and I cut those 2 pieces into circles. I was really nervous about doing this because what happens if I don't end up liking it? But in the end, it all works out just perfectly. And I decide that I'm going to pull this piece of pattern paper. This is also from Dear Lizzy Saturday. It wasn't one of our 4 pieces of pattern paper, but I'm going to pull it anyways because it's got the right color tone to it. I'm wearing red pants, which is not something I normally do, but it's going to play off of everything correctly. But I love that black as well, so I'm going to trim it so that I can use a little bit of that B side of that pattern paper for another project, maybe even the very next one. We'll see how that works. And I'm just going to back it with a piece of white pattern paper instead, cardstock instead. I'm also going to, instead of take advantage of the little strip that I had already, it wasn't quite the right tone of blue, teal that I wanted to use. So I'm going to take advantage of the green that's part of the 4 sheets of paper we're using and make those into the banner instead. I'm really loving this, and what you see right now is the basis of what my layout looks like. To add in my washi tape, which is part of the recipe challenge, I'm flipping through the sticker sheet booklet that is part of the Dear Lizzy Saturday. I got almost this entire collection because it's just so beautiful. And I'm just going to use this little clear one that says the word hello all over it. I like that it brought in some pops of black, which is what I'm really looking for because there is black in my photo, and I just want to tie everything together and make it all kind of coincide and work very happily together. You can see I went off camera and did some stitching. So I stitched on the white cardstock, and then I stitched all of the circles as well as the banner. I, however, did not stitch on the red piece of background paper because I thought it would be too funny to have 2 sheets of pattern paper side by side like that with the black stitching. So I chose not to do that, but I really like this because it kind of nestles everything together. I do pull one little piece of ephemera out of the ephemera collection from there. And now I'm just trying to work towards doing some embellishment and finishing off being able to use my recipe here. I am still trying to go into the leftovers from the original layout as well. I would love to take advantage of as much as that is possible. So I'm going to take this awesome chipboard little cloud there and find a home for it. So you're not going to see it right away, but it does find a home. I also used the little teal cloud that I had. Again, this was from the original layout, and that makes the home where that's going right now. You're going to see me kind of mess around here. There's just something about the fact that because this layout is kind of talking about being out for a walk, that clouds are just kind of super fitting for it. So I really was determined to get some clouds on this layout in one way or another. And you're going to see here I go. I love this little puffy sticker cloud, and it's just going to go right up there. It's actually the perfect teal and matches that really well. And then I'm also going to take this little clip, which is again from the original layout, and nestle it in between. Was able to utilize all three of my photos by just doing a little flip with that. And now I'm looking at how I'm going to be able to use wood veneer. This was the biggest part of my challenge. I had a really hard time figuring out what wood veneer pieces I was going to use, where I was going to put them, and how to use three, because we had to use 3 pieces of wood veneer, and I really struggled with that. You'll actually see at the very end, I don't even figure out the last piece of wood veneer to the very, very end. But you can see here that I did decide how to use the frame. I just took a black frame I've had in my stash. I like the way that looks. I think it's really neat. It again, it's an anchoring piece, so that's what I enjoy about that. And then the other cloud that I was having a hard time finding a home, that's just going to go right there. It ties in a little bit of gray. It's kind of a blue steelish gray color, so I think it's quite fitting. And then I just covered up the date by just putting the year instead, because I originally had the date there, because I'm going to use my roller date stamp to add it to the bottom of my photo instead. And here is my really crazy long title, and it's called Build a Life You Don't Need a Vacation From. It's something I found, again, I have a Pinterest board called Titles, and it was one that I had found there. I'm loving the way that looked. So you're going to see my close-ups here, kind of it all being done. And there's that last piece of wood veneer. So please go check out Katty's take on this layout. It was so much fun to create, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Thank you, everyone.